Okay, sorry about that. Research project, right? So this is the part 2 video tape of the welcome video. So now we're going to talk about the research project and move on. So that takes care of the study guides and the chapter readings. The rest of the course and the rest of your grade is the research project. So you're going to do a full, complete research from the complete, but you're going to do a full research project throughout the course of the semester. And again, this is an experience that is a lot of work over a 14-week semester, over a 7-week semester. It's also it's especially trying, but it is doable. People have done it, I want to be encouraging to you about that. So the rest of these tabs here. So we have research paper sections, peer review assignments, and discussion board. So research paper sections. So the research paper is divided up into a number of subsections to help it be manageable, corresponds with the number of the chapters in the reading, and then each week, let me back up here. If you go to course content, back up to course content. So under course content, we have all 14 weeks, 14 folders, 14 weeks. Again, a week in this class is 3 days. You have 3 days, 3 days, and then a day off, right? So theoretically, one of those is a 4-day week. So 3 or 4 days. So if you look in week 1, there's learning targets, there's the PowerPoint, there's narrated PowerPoint, and then there's additional resources. So all of the additional resources in all 14 folders, they all don't have them, but those additional resources really correspond to helping you build the research paper. So this may sound like, it usually sounds like a daunting task if you haven't done one of these before, a full research project. This is different. This is not a research paper where you go online and research or look up information about a topic. This is a research paper where you conduct research. And you put it, you're basically writing just like a journal article with all those sections. It's not as extensive, not nearly as extensive as a dissertation. It's not quite as extensive as a master's project, but it is extensive. And the important piece here is that you're working through the research project process so that you have that experience. So all that said, this is a process-oriented experience. This is not a product-oriented experience. The research that you're doing, the research that you're going to conduct, is an exercise in your learning. So this isn't research you're going to publish no matter what happens. No matter what you find, you will not be publishing this research. You will not be sharing it publicly. This is for course and individual development only. And that's a requirement not only of the course, but of the review board and the ethical rules. The reason you don't have to go in front of an ethical board or an institutional review board for research is because you're not going to publish it. You're doing this for the sake of doing research and for learning. So just want to be clear, that's limitations. That's where it stops. So like I said, that said, it's pretty involved. So under course content, all these folders, again, you look under week 1. So there's a little tip here as far as what pages to read and how you should get started. Developing a research question. So there's a couple links here with YouTube videos. And then there's this, there's a document about, a Word document about research subjects. If you look under other course content here, you'll find, like if I go to week 3, in addition to the PowerPoint and learning targets, so you have some information about APA format for your literature review. You have 2 great little videos for your lit review, and then the library, link to the library. So you have an incredible amount of useful information. Don't think that's extra information. It's really important that you watch those videos, or that you take the extra step to tap into those materials. Again, it's not like 2 courses in one, but there's 2 parallel trains of thought happening, right? There's all the chapters with the study guides, and then there's your research project. So we're going to chip away at it. So if you look at the research paper sections, your research questions, first draft is due. And again, on page 4 of your syllabus, it has all those due dates. So there are a lot of assignments. We're designed to chunk off this research paper, though, little bits at a time. Research questions, and there's a description here, right? But research questions, you're going to select, you're going to brainstorm a couple different topics and then develop research questions based on what you learned in Chapter 1 about hypotheses and research questions. Chapter 3. You're also going to, so you're going to read that, and then you're going to turn in some research questions. And we're going to keep this process going. And I don't want you to hate the topic, but understand you don't have to be in love with this topic. You're going to work on it for 7 weeks, and then you never have to see it again. Or it can be the foundation of your ongoing research. So do something you're interested in, but do not try to create the new scientific breakthrough. This is, again, process-oriented. This is an exercise in learning for you, going through the steps, seeing what it's like to complete all these steps. So I can't emphasize that enough. All right, so you're going to send me research questions. I'm going to send you feedback, and then ultimately we're going to discuss the final research questions. You may get video, like a YouTube video feedback from me. If necessary, we can talk over the phone. Maybe we can go back and forth via email, because not only is it important that your questions are sound and you have well-developed hypotheses and additional research questions, but it's also important that it's doable and manageable in the time frame we have, given the sample you have and the people you have access to. We'll talk more about that as the semester goes, but pretty quick. Battery warning. All right, literature review. First draft, you're going to do a literature review. And that's significant, but every journal article you've ever read has a literature review, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to find the current literature, what that says about your topic, and then you're going to summarize it. All this is APA format. This is an exercise in TDM. This is APA format, but it's really important that you get the sense of it. There's great resources here in the course folders on APA format. You bought a text, or you had a recommended text on the APA format. So you just have to get a sense of how that works. Literature review, first draft, I said methodology and instrument. So you're going to talk about what your approaches are, who your subjects are, what type of research you're doing, your methods, and where you got your sample, and then an instrument, the survey instrument that you're going to pass out to people or that you're going to interview people with. Again, more on that later. So those are all first drafts, right? The questions, the literature review, the methodology. You're going to get feedback on those as quickly as possible from me. I'm going to turn those around diligently, timely feedback back to you. And then the research proposal is a combination of all three of those things. And so you're basically just putting it all together and doing some other formatting things. So the research proposal is basically your second draft of, your research questions are locked. Your second draft of your literature review and your methodology and instrument. So you get a second draft on that. So your paper is forming, you're getting good feedback, and you're going to be graded accordingly, right? This is not, you'll see the rubrics are not about doing anything perfectly. It's about having these sections, having all the sections required. So your research proposal is 3 out of 5 sections of the paper. Then you move to findings and conclusions. So once you get your research proposal approved, you'll be gathering. Once you get your research questions approved, you can start working on the process to gather data. Once you have your instrument, I guess. But so then findings and conclusion. So findings is all of your results in a non-biased, non-perspective format. Just these are the results. 10 people said this, 3 people said that. Out of the 10 people who said this, 6 of them said this. Out of the 3, they were like that. Describe the research. It's more exciting than that when you have actual verbs and relevant results. And then conclusion is based on these numbers. This is what it means. This is how it relates to my research question. This is how it relates to the literature. This is how it furthers the literature. These are the limitations of my study, and these are some questions where I'd like to see the study go in the future. Again, if you've read many journal articles, that's the format. So that assignment is just those 2 sections. You're going to send it to me. I'm going to turn it around, give you timely feedback. You're going to make those corrections. And then you're going to put it in the final paper, which is all the sections together. So the final paper ends up being the third draft of all of third or fourth draft of all these sections, depending on how this adds, or second or third draft. So the final paper can be nothing more than 30 minutes of cutting and pasting. And I know that's worth a lot. So all these are worth different amounts. They're staggered here throughout the semester. Again, over 14 weeks, there's a little more space. Over this time frame, you have something due just about half of about one a week. So that's the research paper process. You see there's all the requirements and the rubrics and the details for that. There's even video rubrics where I kind of bring to life and talk through the rubric so you get the sense. I would encourage you to watch all the videos I make because naturally I feel it's important enough to make a video about, and it really gives it, again, helps you understand the emphasis of the different concepts that are in the rubric. You're free to read the syllabus or read all the rubrics. You're free to not watch any of these videos, but the videos certainly do help, and it makes the process easier for you and me. Okay, so that's the bulk of the research project. Let me point out the 2 peer review assignments. These are important just so you can get out of your own box here. So twice you're going to read someone else's, read and comment on someone else's research project. So this is not hypercritical, right? But you're going to read someone else's research questions and ask and have some wonderings. I wonder if you looked at this. Have you considered this demographic? Have you considered looking at the question in this way? It's just to force you and give you an opportunity to look at someone else's research questions and see how that's developing. And then the research proposal. Again, so you'll put together one research proposal. I don't want you to get through the whole class and just understand your own style. You're going to get some feedback from me, but you're going to get some feedback from a peer. So at the time of making this video, there are 4 people signed up for this class. So I will assign you a peer review partner. So you'll just read theirs, give them some feedback. It'll be semi-structured, and then you'll submit it to me and them. So it'll help. You'll help each other, but it's also a meaningful experience for you to be looking at that. The discussion board tab has so the personal introduction, which we would have done week 1, or we'll do week 1, right? So you have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to do the personal introduction. Tuesday, you're required to post to do your first posts, and we're building a little classroom community, right? So it's a little get to know you. It's important that you update your profile picture and that you answer those questions. And then so it's 3-day discussion. You do all your posts. You answer all my questions on day 1. Day 2 and 3, you're required to comment on each other's posts. Again, follow the direction, but I just want to emphasize that's day 1, 2, and day 1 you have an assignment due, and then day 2 and 3. So we hit the ground running, and we need to, as you can see. And I've tried to allow space where the space is the most important to have space. So you have some extra time, or where I need to grade it and turn it around. So I need to be able to turn it around, get it back to you, and then you need to be able to turn it around and get it back to me. All these drafts back and forth, this is the way the research works. Discussion board, back to discussion board. The other 2 things there are the discussion board. So when you turn in those assignments, your research proposal and your research question, in addition to uploading to me for credit, you'll also post them there for your partner to see, or for anyone to see. All right. Those are the assignments of the course. Again, in broad strokes, that's the overall schedule. It's kind of some closing words. Definitely stick to the script here, right? We have a tight timeline. Let's go back and forth. My role here, because we're not doing live lectures. This is an online course, as you know. So what I've done is taken previous courses and experience and put all this together to create and engineer learning experiences for you. You're going to read about the research process, and then we're going to check for understanding in all those study guides. And then you're going to complete the research process. We're going to do it in a way that's non-threatening, but is a lot of work. So you don't have to publish it, you don't have to present it, but you're going to get some peer review, and ultimately it needs to be of quality. So I'm here as your supporter, your cheerleader, your coach. I'm here to coach you through this process. I'm not being critical or evaluating you. My goal is to get you through this, help you meet your learning targets, and I'm looking forward to a great semester. And please email me when you have questions. Thanks.